or harmony speaks to the fact that our universe kind of has an equilibrium or a balance to it. There's a harmony in how our universe functions and works. And yet there is also a great deal of diversity within the universe. We take, for example, the theory of the Big Bang, this idea that there was some kind of a gaseous existence and somehow or another some gravitational singularity that boiled everything down to kind of a very small pinpoint, and then suddenly an explosion that scattered out basically all that we know of as the known universe. There are some real science fiction explanations for how you defy the physics that we know that this universe has in order to explain how that was possible. But then everything allegedly kind of settles out, and there's kind of this swirling of things, specifically when you talk about our solar system. And so there is a rotation, heavier elements kind of shifting towards the sun, and lighter elements kind of keeping to the back. And so therefore you have kind of the rocky inner planets being formed this way, and the gaseous giants being formed kind of outside the orbit of the sun. And so therefore there is this this movement in which all these things are being created, and of course billions of years are theorized to make this possible. Well, the problem with that, there's not, although there is harmony and a balance, there's not a consistency. There's not a uniformity that you would expect to find in this explanation. For example, all the planets, of course, are orbiting the sun in the same direction, and yet the orbits of each of the planets, that is the rotation of each of the planets, are not always identical. Venus, for example, is rotating backward compared to the vast, basically every other planet in the solar system. Uranus is a planet that essentially is rotating on its side, turned at nearly 100-degree angle as it rotates or orbits the sun. So these retrograde or different kind of rotation speaks to the fact that there is diversity, but does that retrograde rotation, does that flow logically and naturally from an explanation of the Big Bang and how the universe came to be? And yet there is congruity, and yet there is harmony. So I believe that Christians, when you look at the world and you think about the harmony that's in the world and how this balance exists, and yet there is still a diversity even within all of these elements, there's a harmony, should really encourage the Christian to recognize God's work, God's existence, and God's creative work in this universe that we inhabit. And certainly the explanations and the theories of the Big Bang and evolution do not explain these. Now, this doesn't stop people from trying. They certainly do. There are a lot of fantastical theories as to how Venus's rotation changed, or Uranus, and so on and so forth. And yet none of those things are provable. But it's a good argument to make when you think about a grand designer designing this universe in which we live, and therefore no matter all of the diverse elements that are there, the unifying force behind it all, a creator who made the universe the way that it is for us today.